and welcome back to Game of Thrones podcast, episode 19. My name is Tina, and our today's guest is Utkrishta Kumar, who is the Vice President and General Manager, Business at Meesho, one of the fastest growing e commerce companies in India, with a lot of investors in line. Welcome to the show, Utkrishta. Great to have you here, and how's the day going?
Hey, hi. Thanks, Tina. Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's another day in the pandemic. We are working remotely. Just a different day in Bangalore. It's probably sunny today, so a good change.
Great. So, Utkrishta, what is Meesho all about? What are your responsibilities and roles here, and how is the journey so far with the brand?
Sure. So, Meesho, if I were to define it very simply, it's in the business of building micro entrepreneurs in India.
Mhm.
And our typical product market fit comes from a persona that is, a homemaker in a tier two, tier three city, and the earning that she makes while operating on Meesho is the true PMF. And the homemaker again is solving for trust and distribution, while she uses social apps to connect and communicate to folks in her network, right? And as Meesho has scaled massively over last couple of years, we have seen a lot more personas succeeding like a homemaker. While homemaker still continues to be the most successful persona on the app, but we have college students, small boutique owners, even a smaller fraction of men who make a living out of Meesho. As far as my role is concerned, I am the VPGM business at Meesho, and I'm primarily looking at revenue and retention. So teams, from business development, category management, marketing, biz intelligence, business operations, they report into the function I head. Um,
Amazing.
yeah, sorry. I think the last part was around the journey, right? So uh, again, I've been at Meesho for close to 2 years now, and I think it has been the most fulfilling part of my career yet. Have had close to a decade experience in commerce, but nothing comes close to the fulfillment I've gotten during my 2 years at Meesho. Uh, and one of the biggest reasons for that is the outcome, the successes that you generate in Meesho is actually helping a lot of Indians, especially homemakers, women succeed, right? And that is what keeps us as a team, as a company, going pretty strong. We hear a lot of stories from our resellers who talk about the kind of hardships they had to face, and I mean how Meesho has kind of not given them just an income source, but also an identity. Uh, and the kind of earnings they have made through Meesho
Mhm.
has changed their social presence, has had a huge positive impact overall, and these are things you take away after a hard day at work.
Amazing. I'm sure there are many homemakers in India and people who have creative ideas but cannot execute it for some reason or the other. And platforms like Meesho are giving voice to them and to create an identity for them. So, according
Yes.
to
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
Sorry, carry on. Yeah.
Yeah. According to stats, 90% businesses would be using social media by 2020, and a digital consumer spends on an average 2 hours 15 minutes on social media every day, according to Global Web Index. So definitely, we see a lot of potential in this market. So I would like to know your thoughts on the scope for social media platforms to accelerate the Indian e-commerce industry in the next 10 years, if I would ask you.
Sure. So social media platforms is where the demand discovery happens, right? And Facebook and Google are the super aggregators out there. So they kind of, operate multi-sided markets with users, suppliers, and advertisers. And while Google helps with more search-driven conversions and it's more pull-based, Facebook, Instagram seem to be a much better fit for push. So again, I mean, for setups that aggregate supply or are a brand, their need of social media channels to drive conversions would continue to skyrocket, right? And it's very far-fetched to imagine that a brand launch in India would can happen over next 10 years without an increased presence on social media. In fact, I mean, broadly every company out there, or everyone which needs some aid, some help in discovery getting done to the end customer, they need some sort of a presence on social media channels. And if you really have to look at a diverse set of companies, you just can look at the top spenders on Facebook. You'll find everyone from Uber, Netflix, Amazon, to the likes of Pfizer, Samsung, Microsoft, you name it, and you find all these folks are spending the big bucks to reach and connect to the end customer. Even in the Indian context, as the DAO of Facebook, Instagram will continue to grow and the engagement numbers continue to go north, uh, the impact they'll have to accelerate the commerce reach and conversion would be humongous.
Hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Utkrishт, what's your take on Jio's ambitious plan across different verticals and any impacts as such on Meesho as a whole?
So I think Geo has been a great story in kind of the news in past few weeks or a couple of months, that has been a great thing to come out of the pandemic, right? It has definitely helped put India on the global tech map. Again, I mean, not a week goes by where you don't hear of a marquee investor or a group investing in Geo. I still think that primarily Geo's core valuation or business model today is the telco business, which has kind of changed the landscape altogether. What Geo has brought to India is the cheapest market for data compared to anywhere else in the world. And as I was reading through their future plans, and they definitely are going after product and services in the tech stack. We definitely think there will be massive opportunities that will get created, and there might be few companies that compete directly with Geo and will have to reinvent things. But broadly, I guess it might be a good thing for this ecosystem as a whole. As far as Meesho is concerned, again, our core business is around making resellers earn. There is not a lot of direct impact, but if Geo's plans in helping distribution payments, that they go ahead and make it easier, cheaper for everyone, it can create the tailwinds that will help our ecosystem to grow the pie, and it probably might aid us positively. Yeah.
All right, all right. So, among various social media platforms, which one do you think
Hmm.
has the most potential for growth among, if I would ask you, among Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram? Considering that each platform has different audiences and targets, but since Meesho's reach is incredible and there must be some analysis done on that. So, how would you rank these apps, or which one is the most potential application for the growth?
So all three of them at the end of the day are Facebook companies, right?
Right.
But if you look at it today, WhatsApp has a massive reach. I mean, it's tending towards a 500 million down number, right? Which is huge. And WhatsApp is not for paid discovery. So for our resellers, WhatsApp continues to be the most engaging platform. And while they continue to use Instagram, they continue to use Facebook to reach out to folks in their network. But WhatsApp is winning hands down, right? And WhatsApp numbers are only getting stronger. And even if you look at the overall WhatsApp business rollout and their adoption, our resellers are now finding it much easier to manage their business on WhatsApp. But in the overall commerce space, Facebook is the giant, and Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, they all solve very different needs. And Facebook has a very high engagement number and the social network globally, but it doesn't directly compete with WhatsApp in terms of what value does it provide to the end customer. End of the day, WhatsApp is the tool for chat, and Facebook is probably a tool for being connected with friends and family in more of a social media way, right? What Instagram solves for is probably a particularly different case, and even though it has more youth as a part of demography, it makes it very easier for end customers to follow brands and influencers. So Instagram definitely looks to me as the destination, which is a lot more suited for influencer driven engagement in future. uh, and there are some geographies out there where we've seen a key opinion leader kind of a concept emerge, and Instagram as a platform makes it a lot more easier to aid discovery of that kind.
Right.
For Meesho, again, reseller is at the center of decision making, and if end customers continue to spend more time on WhatsApp, we will see more business come out of WhatsApp. But as you see them switching over to Instagram or Facebook, we'll see more business coming out of their sharing happening on Instagram and Facebook, right? So uh, that the business will kind of follow where the engagement numbers lie.
Exactly. Also, a small follow-up question, Utkrishta. Could you take me through
Yes.
a brief journey how a reseller integrate with the application and then start selling their products?
Yeah, so there is no integration needed. In fact, Meesho makes it very easy for a reseller to go and start sharing and selling on the platform. So our click to action button on the app is not add to cart, but it's share, and you can. Meesho is already helps you share on all possible media, social media, chat media out there, right? And we are helping you share directly to Instagram feed, to a Facebook post, of course to WhatsApp and WhatsApp Business, even to setups like Telegram. So that's what makes this this entire process very smooth and very easy.
Indeed. So, Meesho has achieved 50 times growth in 3 years, which is quite
Mhm.
incredible. So, what are the various marketing strategies that Meesho's marketing team executes on a daily basis?
So Meesho has two marketing teams. So one is for acquisition of new resellers, and the other is for engaging the existing ones, right? And while acquisition has a very strong funnel optimization play to it, there is also a significant effort that we put in to explore new channels, which can have a disproportionately higher conversion numbers. I kind of spend more time with the team that engages the existing resellers, and that is where a lot more segmentation comes into play, right? And Meesho is end of the day for existing resellers is more of a utility app, and there is a very strong pull from the current users. So there are a lot of efforts we put in engaging them through various organic communication channels and optimize them.
Right. Since you handled the customer engagement as well, so
Mm-hmm.
how important it is to tap the right audience. So since Meesho serves over 5 million individuals and enterprises, right? So who is the audience for Meesho, if you would like to explain in detail, and what benefits they get using this platform?
So, if I were to look at it in a broader world, right, your product market fit is when you start is generally for a particular persona, and for me, so that persona were homemakers in tier two, tier three cities, and once you've established your product market fit for the persona, then you go after scaling that persona. And once you reach a certain scale, you then tend to decide whether you want to add more features to serve your existing persona, or you want to take a bigger share of the wallet, uh, uh, or you go ahead and make more personas work. So in Meesho, we've been lucky that our PMF has been around making resellers earn. So while it was the core product market fit for homemakers was pretty easy initially to execute and get that done with. But as we expanded the horizon and we started going after the personas like college students, or smaller businesses, or even male resellers, uh, we realized that it was more of a play around how do you go about increasing the supply that they can share and sell, launching new categories. And while the engagement or retention numbers do change with persona type, what we have seen is that if there is earning to be made, the retention numbers tend to look pretty strong. uh, so this is how we have kind of tried to target the right audience, and our vision has not only been to aid existing resellers, but also to create resellers. So there is a lot of focus, a lot of effort that undergo where how do we make teaching reselling pretty easy for for folks who have the intent and they want to earn a living reselling. Yeah.
Right. A quick question that comes to my mind is that is there any product check or quality check procedure for the products that resellers are dealing with?
So resellers today, Meesho takes care of, like any other marketplace out there, takes care of figuring out the right optimal checks for quality and fulfillment, and ensure that reseller is spending majority of their time engaging with their end customers, driving the conversion without going through the pains of figuring out, if the product is right quality or not, or is the pricing perfect or not. We take care of all of those hassles on the behalf of the reseller. And again, I mean, bulk of our resellers don't even need to get the products to their address. They can directly ship it to their end customer's address, and we allow very free and easy returns. So I mean, we ensure that since a reseller is aiding, is building on trust, there is, every decision we take and every service we provide, we ensure that the trust stays pretty strong.
Exactly. So, Utkrish, the continuous growth in e-commerce market would also require the rapid growth in transports and logistics business. So, the question is how robust and reliable should be the logistics when the customers you handle are in millions? So, how does Meesho provide logistics support?
Yes, so experience is the driver of retention, right? And delayed deliveries, wrong fulfillment, they can make all your acquisition numbers look like just a vanity metric. So we ensure that we double down on everything that has an impact on reseller or end customer experience. Meesho works with all the biggest names in logistics space, but what we also have is a very sophisticated proprietary backend which allocates shipments to these 3PLs basis various criterion like time taken to deliver, cost of shipment, quality of services, and while since the kind of volumes we have and being one of the biggest players out there, we do enjoy a lot of value add benefits from the players we work with. We have dedicated capacity from majority of our courier partners, and even though we are working within the constraints of a marketplace, we definitely have a lot of levers to ensure that the logistics network goes ahead and ensures SLA adherence, uh, and has a much higher OTIF rate.
Right, right. So, any advice and a message you would like to give to the budding entrepreneurs and e-commerce industry enthusiasts?
I don't think I'm an expert to offer a lot, but I think this pandemic might turn out to be a great time to build things, because what we are witnessing is a massive growth phase during the pandemic, as some of the gradual changes that were happening, and we were seeing e-commerce penetration growing slightly slowly over last year or two, uh, that all those things have just accelerated, right? And and as retail needs to figure out what the new landscape would be, we are definitely enjoying a period of great growth. So this broadly also changes the ecosystem as a whole, and there are a lot new opportunities coming up, with remote work happening, with people figuring out the new normal. So I guess for all entrepreneurs out there, I think there are many new problems that need to be solved, and it might be a great time to think about these problems and build the right products around it. Yeah.
Amazing. So I agree with you. With this pandemic, there are industries that have taken a hit, but also there are businesses and brands that are growing, which is amazing to know. So, all right. Thanks for this wonderful discussion and useful information, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to episode 19 with Utkrishta Kumar, Vice President and General Manager at Meesho. Thank you, Utkrishta.